Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Fill Her Cup podcast. My name is Tania Lester, and this is the Fill Her Cup pod, where you leave with your glass fuller than it was when you came. Today, we are talking about letting go and why you need a fresh start, and why you deserve that fresh start. So, I wanted to talk about this because if you're anything like me, I definitely struggle with letting go of things when they've meant a lot to me, right? So whether that be a relationship, a friendship, a situation that you thought was going to go a certain type of way, I typically struggle to let those things go and release those things and just understand that they were here for a reason and a season and not permanently. So I just wanted us to chit chat a little bit about the art of letting go and why holding on to stuff actually has on a lot of baggage, a lot of weight, and keeps us from moving forward with our path in life. So I'm going to ask you, sis, and you can drop in the comment box below, or you can discuss with somebody that you're listening with, or text a friend, and be honest. Are you letting go? Are you holding on to anything? And if you're holding on to anything, how is it serving you? So anything that we hold on to, any baggage and any weight that we add to our baggage, I should say, should be positive weight. It should be pouring into us, right? Because we're on the Fill Her Cup pod. It should be pouring into our cups. If anything that you are carrying is taking from your plate, but still adding to your weight, we've got to let it go. We've got to let it go. There's been too many seasons in my life where I'm still learning about something that maybe happened in my childhood or something that happened in high school or whatever the case may be. And it's not that I'm holding a grudge because I wouldn't say I'm really a grudge holder, right? Like I wouldn't say I sit here and I hold major grudges on people. That is not it. If you got into anything with me, girl, I'm not mad at you. I am not mad at you anymore. I do not think anything of you. I can confidently say that. But I think that what I tend to hold on to internally is the principle or the circumstance that has happened. And it kind of makes me nervous for things to come. So if I struggled with something in a friendship or anything of that sort, now when new friendships arise or it's time for me to go meet new people, I'm anxious or I'm nervous or I avoid it. And that is simply because I haven't released whatever came before that that's making me feel that way. And can you imagine the amount of things we're hindered from when we allow things of the past that we won't let go of to take room for what God is trying to play in our lives right now? Not good at all. Or you have poor judgment. And in my coaching, I've learned that assumptions essentially come from things of the past, experiences of the past that then promote or encourage you to make judgments about what's going to happen next. Example, maybe you had a bad falling out with a friend, you trusted that friend and they betrayed your trust. Now you're moving forward with further friendships, not necessarily in a way of being cautious, but no, you're full out. I don't trust nobody. I don't want to be friends with nobody. I'm not going to tell nobody my business. I'm going to handle everything on my own because with friend XYZ, it went this way. This may hinder you from a best friendship or a companionship with a person that's going to carry you through a hardship in your next season. But because you are holding on to the circumstance of whatever happened in that previous season, you are now working to carry everything on your own. You're not being transparent. You're not being honest. You're not asking for help. And now here you are, sis, lugging the whole weight by yourself because you did not let go. And I just think that's not fair. And I've learned that it's really not fair. It is much harder to do things that way. For me, a way of letting go is what I did in my marriage. So I'm going to use an example of my marriage to help, and then you are just going to attach it to wherever it fits for you, sis. So there was a time in my marriage where my husband and I struggled with communication. Anytime we were ready to discuss a hardship, a problem, it would turn into an argument. It would turn into an argument. I'm just saying it outright. One would want to talk. I would answer to defend and not listen. He's the type of person where, okay, it's not going nowhere. I'm shutting down. So my idea of when it was time to present my feelings to him, or I wanted to have a conversation with my husband, I would not want to do it. Or I would cry, or I wouldn't set myself up in the proper way to have conversations. And eventually I stopped communicating and I was just bottling everything up. But then there came a time where my husband and I grew and we revamped and transformed, and our relationship did not have those things in it anymore that fostered the arguments and the lack of consideration and not listening to one another. But I still wasn't communicating. Why? Because I had who we used to be in my head. I had the husband who would shut down or not talk to me or not listen to my feelings or tell me I'm being too emotional in my head. And then I would then not give him the opportunity to show me who he is now or to support me now or listen to me now. So I just wasn't talking. Or if I was talking, I would jump ahead of him and be like, hey, I need you to not cut me off. Or I need you to not do this. And now that person, well, him feels like you're assuming that I don't know how to handle a conversation anymore. I had no choice but to let go of what I once knew about my marriage and that communication in my marriage. I'll let go of that and then allow in what I now knew about my husband and our communication and our marriage so that we can continue to move forward and we can continue to communicate in better ways and we can grow. And that only happened once I forgave him and I released whatever I knew of him and whatever I knew of our past and how we used to communicate so that I can allow us to be better. I hope that example sparks something for you. And this could simply be with something for yourself. Maybe you're not going to meet new friends because for your entire life you felt like I'm an introvert and every time I try to talk to somebody, it's super awkward. Let go of that idea of yourself if you're trying to step into something new. Right now, release that idea of yourself that is keeping you stagnant so that you can step into something new. You deserve a fresh start. Maybe people knew you as the quiet girl, the mean girl, the introverted girl, the girl with the attitude. You don't have to carry that for the rest of your life. That does not have to be your narrative. It is not stamped on you. You deserve a fresh start. Now, the first step to that is releasing what has been imprinted and processed on your mind to create that idea that that is how you should continue to move forward. There will not be any progression and you will not experience new things. Holding on to that, you'll kind of just stay in your comfort zone or your safe space, functioning from that place. So, how can we release those things? It's been with me my whole life. I've been that since I was a child, or for 10 plus years, I functioned on this, or even this one. This seems to be working for me. Not telling my business, not being open, not being transparent seems to be working for me, Tamia. What do you mean, let it go? Is it really working for you if the goals that you have set in whatever sector that area is have not been accomplished yet, or you're remaining stagnant? It's not working for you. It's just comfortable, sis. So, how do we start? We identify what those limiting beliefs are. What's a limiting belief? A limiting belief is a concept in your head that causes obstacles or refrains from you progressing forward, i.e., I'm too young to be a CEO of a company. That is a limiting belief. There is no age limit for a CEO of a company, at least the one that you're looking at. You can be that, but your limiting belief is that there is suddenly in your head this age gap or this era of your life where you are supposed to step into that. So now you're holding on to that and you are not making the efforts or the strides to become the CEO of that company. Limiting beliefs usually stem from your culture, your background. They even usually stem from your childhood. So they start in your childhood. I'm West Indian. I have been told things like, you clean your dishes before you put them in the dishwasher, or don't walk in the house backwards after a certain hour of the day. So when I function in those things, I now use my dishwasher as a result. And I feel like I need to clean every dish before using the dishwasher. Adding more work to my plate. Put them dishes in the dishwasher as they are and let the pots do what they need to do. To me, I've had to literally go through my mind and reconstruct how I viewed those things. Or I've been told ladies should be seen, not heard, since I was a little girl. Things like this, like a podcast where I'm now speaking my truth, speaking outwardly, seem a little bit out of my place. Initially, I'm thinking, who's going to want to hear what I have to say? Or why do I have the right to sit and talk and share whatever and create a space for women to fuel and fill their souls and their spirits and just lift themselves up? Those are all limiting beliefs based off the initial limiting belief that I should be seen and not heard. I then trickled down into, how do I have a place to say this? What qualifies me to do this? What if the girls don't need this? What if nobody wants to hear you? Those are all the limiting beliefs that I had to release to even be here today to have a conversation with you. I'm here to tell you that holding on to that, any of those thoughts, or holding on to the relationship, or holding on to the job that's not promoting you in any way, it doesn't help. It doesn't help. It soothes the person you are now, but it does not push the person that you are becoming. And it does not get you closer to your fresh start that you deserve. So what I need you to do is take a moment and identify your limiting beliefs. Take a moment and write them down. What are things that you think right now in your head that don't necessarily propel you forward? What are situations and circumstances that you are holding on to that you notice caused you not to start the new friendship, caused you not to take the solo trip, caused you not to go on that date? Write those things down, and then I want you to do whatever it takes to try and take it day by day to release those things. And they don't have to necessarily be done cold turkey. It can take time. If it's a bigger thing, like the way that you view relationship with men, or the way that you view creating new friendships in your adulthood, this may take some time. This may take things like baby steps. Maybe you go to a cafe and you just sit there and you're like, I'm not really gonna say nothing to nobody, but I'm here today. So that counts. Or maybe you start an account on a dating app. I don't know. Or maybe you have a conversation with your husband and you say, I'm going to listen. And when I listen, I'm not going to listen to respond. I'm going to allow him to speak. And this doesn't have to be your husband. Maybe it's your boo. Maybe it's your boyfriend. But I just want you to understand that the more you hold on to is the more weight you're carrying and the heavier that you make your luggage. And that's why you feel so tired. And that's why you feel like, oh, when is it going to start for me? When am I going to step into what my truth is and what I want to do? And it's simply because all of that is dragging behind you that's not necessary for this season. Maybe you want that person to come with you. Maybe you want that relationship to come with you. Maybe that's the way that you envisioned it. But then we have to remember that we are not the writers of our lives. We are not the ones that write the narrative. I know that we've been told that in some ways, and that we can shift our narrative. We have authority over our lives. But truly, if God is shifting you in another direction, you'll also find that holding on to things causes you a lot of tension. You feel a lot of tension when you're trying to move forward, and then he's pulling you back. Or it's like, this person's not working, or, this situation is not going as it should. Everything just feels so rigid and so rough. And it's because maybe God is trying to get you to make room so that he can place new things in order for you. And the more you hold on to the things that you feel need to be around, you delay your blessings. You delay that fresh start. Comment below, if it's not too personal, something that you are deciding to let go of. Something that you're deciding, I'm not carrying this anymore. This is no longer mine. And I want you to word it in a way that's like, this is no longer mine. This being blank. Blank no longer belongs to me. I no longer carry blank. And then you pray about it, or you talk to your closest friend about it, or you talk to your therapist about it, and you make a plan to ensure that you continue to release that thing so that you can get where you need to be. And I just think it's only fair. I think it's only right. And I know I said that before, because we're growing, we're getting older, life is changing, and you deserve to have all the experiences that you prayed for and that you dream of. And I would just hate for myself and for you to be unknowingly limiting ourselves to the things that are right on the other side of the door just because we're stressed about letting go what's in front of our face now because it looks hard. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen, I think Drake honestly has posted this picture, but it's like two men mining for gold. And there's another man, he's at the top and he's working and he's mining. And the goal is not too far. But there's one guy that is literally below him and he's mining and he's chipping at it. And I'm sure he's tired. I'm sure he's exhausted. But he stops, and he stops right when he's by the gold, and he turns around and he feels disappointed. He feels discouraged because it just maybe felt like a bit too much to keep hitting at that coal or whatever they mine. I don't know what you call it. But he stops right there. And you never know when you're right there is. So, girl, instead of fighting so hard to hold on to that thing that keep trying to release itself, let it go. And you'll be very surprised that you may turn around and eventually, right around the corner, tomorrow, next week, 2 months, 6 months from now, you'll be in that place that you've been trying to get to for the past 3 years, but you were sticking to that situation that was too hard to let go of. So I hope that I'm not blabbing too much. I hope that I wasn't, over talking or talking myself in circles, because I understand that this is truly not the easiest thing to do. But your blessings can literally be right around the corner, but who you have yourself surrounded by, or the environment that you are not leaving, or the habits that you are not dropping, can literally be keeping you from your fresh start that you deserve. You reap what you sow. It's literally said in the word. You reap what you sow. And God literally also tells us not to worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow has its own problems. So if you're also struggling to let go of something because it's like, what is life going to look like without this thing, or without this person, or without this situation? I'm scared to know what it's going to look like if I let go of it. What if everything falls apart? Don't worry about what tomorrow is going to look like. Don't worry about it, because whatever decision you also make, God is always going to redirect you right back on path. You're never going to be lost forever, sis. Don't worry. Don't get too scared. And if you do go through something and things do fall apart, then they were supposed to. Like, you have to understand, everything we go through has a reason. Even when we don't like it. If you have to get your tooth pulled, that's painful. You don't like it, but you have to get the tooth pulled. It has to come out, or what? It rots at the root. If you have to get the fill-in so that you don't have to get the root canal. Fix the problem that's there while it's small, so that you don't have a bigger thing to release. Just go ahead and trust yourself, trust your process, and that'll be part of filling your own cup. Releasing things that no longer serve you is filling your own cup. It leaves a little bit less water for you to pour out into a situation that's not pouring back into you. And there's such a breather that you can get from that. Like, I heard from one of my clients today that she literally just feels less anxious because she let go of a relationship that was no longer serving her. A week later, she is waking up and she does not feel anxious anymore. She's encouraged and excited to go through her days. She's doing new things for herself. And that's her first start. And yeah, there are things that she does not know about herself. There are things that she needs to relearn about herself. And that's okay. And that can be scary. We're not, I'm not disregarding that. But I think that is so much more exciting than sitting in the place that's no longer serving you, or sacrificing your joy for something that is not satisfying you. And all it takes is to say, I release control of that. I don't want that anymore. It doesn't do anything for me anymore. So I'm just going to let it be. And another gag? You know what the other gag is, sis? Is sometimes the things are only released temporarily. We sometimes treat the things that God is trying to let go of, make us let go of, like it's going to be gone forever. Like, we know, like, oh, it's going to be done forever. It's going to be gone forever. I'm never going to have it again. So I just want to hold on to it. Even if it's not exactly what I want, I want to hold on. I want to keep it. And we do that all the time. But it's like, maybe it's just for a season. Maybe y'all just need a break. But God needs to see that you trust him to fully release it into his hands and not control it anymore. Maybe it just needs a second. Maybe it just needs a break. And it'll come back to you if it's for you. That's for the career path. That's for the relationship. That's for the friendship. That's for moving to a new state. Maybe you're like, I love Brooklyn. I love New York. I love Texas. Wherever you are, I can't imagine myself anywhere else, but God is calling you to another state. God is calling you to another country. God is calling you to travel and touch lives somewhere else. But you're too busy thinking it or treating it as though you're going to be away from what you know forever. Maybe you just need to go do what He needs you to do right now. And then it'll circle back if it's for you, babe. But we have to release this level of control that honestly is not even helping us. It looks good. It looks good fighting and maintaining and fighting for that thing that you know very well you're supposed to let go of. Makes you look resilient, makes you feel like I got this, I'm holding this down. But honestly, it's in all actuality, it's not. If you're tired, if you're drained, if you're unfulfilled, and if your cup is empty. Because we don't take empty glasses here. So in closing, I just want you to take a look at what you're holding on to that just simply isn't serving you anymore. And I want you to speak to or lean on whatever part of your village that will help you release that, or go into self as much as you need to, go as deep as you need to lock in with yourself and keep your word to yourself around why it is so vital for you to make this decision and to stand on business about it, so that you're not holding yourself back from blessings, and so that you get the fresh start that you're desiring, because you deserve it, sis. So I am so happy that you met me at the well today and that you heard me out on my second episode of the Fill Her Cup podcast. And I hope you meet me back here to have your cup filled again. And I hope you're leaving with your cup fuller than it was when you came in. I love you so much. God bless you. Follow me on Instagram at TikTok at the Coach Mia. Like this podcast on Apple and Spotify so that you can continue chatting and spending some time with your girl. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube, to Mia Lester, so you can catch my next episode. Have a great, great week. And let that thing go, girl. Let it go. See you later. Bye.